We're almost at the end of Sunday. I'm making it a habit of getting my thoughts out quick when I have them, because at one point I used to try to write them down on my notes in the phone, and they would just get lost in the shuffle. And then once my work week starts going, it's an avalanche. So I know by that point I'm just not going to come back to it. And then if I don't put it down in my notes, I'm going to forget. So I'm like, okay, let's just pop up and throw these thoughts out there when I had them. So I was doing some thinking over the weekend, over the long weekend, because I finally had a little bit of time to think. And I was thinking about how lately, in the past year in particular, I have had a really hard time getting myself up to do things that I consider as obligations. People who know me over most of the course of my life know that I'm one of the most reliable people that that a lot of people know. They would say, if you ask them, who's the most reliable person that you know? Prior to this year, the answer might be me. But lately, I've had a hard time with that. I've had a hard time with honoring my commitments and honoring, say that I'm going to do something. I always do it. In the case lately, I've been saying, this is what I'm going to do. I'll be here at this time. I'm going to do this at this time. And the time comes, and for a multitude of reasons, it just doesn't seem to happen. It could be that I forgot. It could be that I woke up and I didn't feel well that day. It could be that my depression is overtaking me. But the whole thing about that is that over the course of the last several years, there's been many things that I have committed to doing, that I have felt many reasons why I'm not motivated to do them, but I've done them anyways. And I was feeling really down about the fact that it's so hard for me right now. The epiphany that I had is, why is it that I have done so many things over the years that don't interest me and forced myself to do them? Yes, it's a good quality and a good trait to follow through with the things that you say that you're going to do. I fully believe that. But it's not the best trait to be a people pleaser and to be somebody who says, yes, I'm going to do that just because you know the other person wants you to do it, and it's not something that you want to do. So my thought was like, anytime I get up for something that I am actually interested in, even if I feel depression, or even if I feel some sadness, or even if I feel like there's obstacles going on, I still have some motivation to do it. For an example, this interview that I did last year, I remember I asked the person for the interview, and when the actual day of the interview came, I woke up that morning and I was not excited. I was like, man, I feel so depressed. I feel so unmotivated. But because I knew that this was something that a once in a lifetime thing, that I only will have this one opportunity to capture, like if I don't do this today, I'm probably not going to get it tomorrow, an opportunity to do this again. So I was able to tell myself those things, and I got up, I put myself together, I got myself out to where I needed to go for this interview. And when I got there, it was one of the best days. And I've had many days like that where I committed to something that I was actually interested in, I was actually passionate about. And even if I didn't feel my best going into it, I always felt great coming out of it. Another example is a lot of these races that I've done. I felt excited when I committed to do the race. I felt excited as I was doing training to get better, to get faster, to get stronger. I was feeling excited during all that time. Then maybe the week of or the day of, sometimes I feel sick or I feel lethargic. But because it's something that I ultimately want to do, it's not something that I'm doing to please somebody else or to make somebody else happy. It's something I'm doing because it's on Mark's agenda. It's something that it's something I'm doing because it's something I like. It's something I want to do. I don't know where this is cutting in and out. Basically, I've been habitually putting too many things on my schedule that I don't really want to do. Like if somebody asks me to do something and I'm like, I kind of, sort of, I guess I will build up the energy to do it. That's the reason why it's so hard for me to stick with those things. And then when you combine that being aggressive state, that's a recipe for cancellation / disaster. So that's where I've been lately. And because of that, I think that now I am going to think very carefully before I add things to my schedule, before I add them to my agenda. Do I want to do this? What's my enthusiasm for it? Do I have the bandwidth? I hate that term, but I kind of make a joke out of it. When one of my previous managers looked at my schedule when I said that I was being given too much work for the amount of time that I have in a day, and they went through my schedule piece by piece and said, Mark, you have the bandwidth to do this. You have the bandwidth to make 150 calls in a day. I wanted to laugh in that manager's face when they told me that. But anyways, that's my revelation. I don't know how much of that got on the video. I hope most, if not all. I'm jumping off work tomorrow. I had a good 4 days. I mean, despite the fact that I did have like a little bout of depression in the midst of these 4 days, I still needed 4 days of just not being at work, not throwing on my badge, not talking to my clients, not dealing with any of that work stuff that I have to deal with usually. So it was a refreshing weekend. Few things happened this weekend that I could have gone better, but for the most part, the weekend was good for me. But yeah, headed off. Please make sure, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. We will talk again soon.